It's time
to fire this thing up.
Hit it. What you've been watching is just a glimpse of our past 4 or 5 hours of our lives. And actually what we're building and installing today is a filming platform for my TV studios. And hi, I'm John Greviskis. It's great to have you back around the boat shop. Who we have on the program also with me is George Massal. George is one of the owners of Deco boat lifts. And a little while back, George put in a beamless boat lift at my house in Jupiter for my 32-foot CV.
Yeah.
And I had a question for him because I've been thinking about this as part of the TV studio for a long time. Could you convert a boat lift into a filming platform to be able to raise the cameraman with the tripod up and down? And you said absolutely, and this is your creation.
This is strictly for you, John.
Right, I mean, he doesn't do this for the public. This is just friends, you know, kind of doing this stuff. How big is the platform?
The platform's about 4.5 feet by 4.5 feet.
Right.
Just big enough to get your film crew and the camera tripod on there.
Fantastic, fantastic. This is kind of based off of what category of boat lift? Because I know there's a lot of them out there.
Well, you take your basic elevator lift. It's picking up and lowering in a vertical fashion, just like we're doing here. So I took that basic principle and converted it to fit your needs.
Now, Deco has been around since, I think, 1959.
Yeah.
You are one of the world's oldest, most established, most trusted, most innovative boat lift companies that there are. You guys have come up with a lot of the cool ideas in today's modern boat lift, one of them being the cable retention system. And why is that a big deal when it comes to that cable?
Well, the cable retention system was developed in order to maintain a cable position as you're raising and lowering the lift without the cable going on top of itself and injuring itself. So it's been a great project and it's worked out very well for the company.
All right, I believe you're the only boat lift company in the world to manufacture your own gearboxes. They have extremely tight tolerances, which means you're going to get a very quiet, very smooth, very fast operating boat lift. And George, what I was hoping we could do today for the audience is maybe we could go through some of these different categories and explain them a little bit more in depth. And I really wanted to show what's going on at your place in Safety Harbor, Florida. Your nephew Chris has overseen a major upgrade. And if you look at the welds, okay, on this filming platform, that has a lot to do with it. What's Chris going to be showing us?
Chris is going to show you the latest and greatest in our welding facility. Everything's overhead. It looks fabulous. It gives the guys on the floor a lot of room. And I can't wait for you to see it.
All right, this is going to be a really cool show. But before we get into any of this stuff, you guys know the deal. We need to work out a little trade-off. We've got to get all of you to spend the next 30 minutes with us right here, not only in the boat shop, but also around the waterfront. And then in exchange, we're going to be letting you in on a whole lot more ways to make your boat
ship shape.
George, you know, the lights that I'm going to be able to get from up here are going to be amazing. Look at this.
Ship Shape TV, where boat improvement lives, is made possible by the entire collection of beautiful Sunbrella fabrics. Sunbrella, the only fabric to offer both design and performance, above and below deck. And by Yamaha, reliability starts here.
Welcome back. You're watching Ship Shape TV, boat improvement made easy.
Guys, I'm like a kid in a candy store. We have successfully installed a filming platform so I can shoot overhead shots back at my studios in Jupiter, Florida. And welcome back. We've traveled across the state of Florida. We're now right on the Gulf of Mexico in Safety Harbor, just outside of Clearwater. And who we have back on ShipShape TV is the president of Deco Boat Lifts. This is Rich Masal. And Rich, the filming platform is based off of a particular category of boat lifts. And I was kind of hoping maybe we could explain some of this to the audience to where maybe we could get them in a general direction on, hey, what might be best for my needs? Because again, a lot of people, especially in saltwater, you need a boat lift.
Sure.
They don't want to bottom paint their boat every year. They don't want to have to worry about sacrificial anodes getting disintegrated. There's a lot of advantages to having a boat lift. But the filming platform was based off of what style or category that you guys made?
Well, the particular design that we used in your platform is called an elevator lift.
Okay, an elevator lift.
Yes.
What and why is there an elevator lift? What's it about?
Well, on narrow canals, it's many times hard to pull a permit.
Right.
And consequently, the elevator lift doesn't take up as big of a footprint, and you can get a permit to put an elevator in on these narrow canals.
Okay, so it'll not only lift the boat, but it kind of can take it out of the canal a little bit. Is there like a particular angle that it's kind of coming up at?
Well, Deco builds elevators in a number of ways. One, we build them on a 22-degree angle as our standard. We also build them vertical for PWC lifts.
Okay, jet skis, stuff like that.
And then we'll do custom angles. There are applications where a custom angle is what's required.
A couple of years back, you came to my house in Jupiter, Florida, and you put in a type of boat lift to where you don't have upper metal beams. I love it. When the boat's on the boat lift, it's a beautiful view. You don't have the obstruction of this metal. What do you call that?
We call it a beamless lift.
Right.
We started making that lift approximately 10 years ago.
How popular is it?
It's very popular.
What is a conventional boat lift? That's another category.
Well, a conventional boat lift is what we call a four-post lift. And in the four-post lift, obviously, it's got 4 pilings, 2 big upper beams. As the lifts get larger, we recommend more pilings under the lifts. So from 4,000 pounds to 20,000 pounds, we typically will do that in a 4-post lift.
Okay.
As we go over 20,000 pounds, we typically do that either in 6 or 8 poles. Again, heavier boats, deeper water, these are all reasons why you would put more pilings under the boat.
You guys have been so innovative over the years. Been around since 1959. The company was based off of this gearbox. And you kind of saw right at the beginning of the program, one of the gearboxes from Deco. Why is that so different? Apparently you're the only boat lift company that manufactures their own gearbox. Why is it different? What's it all about?
Well, we actually manufacture our box for a saltwater environment. It's all aluminum and stainless steel. Once we've built the box, put it together, it's in an oil bath, it's continuously lubricated with nothing to rust. It was designed for a boat lift in salt water.
You also came up with and patented something called the cable retention system.
Yes.
And this is a really big deal because apparently there's been issues over the years of these cables crossing, fraying, and then breaking. It's a nightmare. Could be a nightmare. You solved it with this issue. Tell us about it.
Well, the cable retention system, which we call CRS, it's a deep groove winder. Then we mount a plastic retaining clip over the top. So when the cable wraps up into the winder, the clip is holding it in place. So it removes that problem of the cable.
So a cable can't jump.
Can't bird nest. Yep.
Okay, fantastic. Guys, I don't know if you've ever thought about having a roof over your boat to kind of keep birds or just any sediment in the the air dropping on your boat. Very popular. Okay, these boathouses. You've actually integrated the boat lift into it. Could you explain some of those?
Yeah, that's a very popular design. We've done for many years, helped a lot of customers, where we've taken the boat lift and put it on top of the poles, and then built the roof right up on top of the lift. So the lift and the roof become an integral part of the whole dock design.
Okay, how could somebody at home, if they're interested in getting their boat out of the water, how would somebody find a qualified, screened marine contractor? That's essential. How would they get directed into the proper category of boat lifts? How could they get a little design technique, some influence some ideas, and how could they size up what type of category lift they might kind of find is the best to suit their needs. Where do we get everybody connected? There's a lot of parties here.
Sure. Well, a great place to start is at Deco's website, decoboatlift.com. It shows all the different style lifts that we manufacture, and it also gives good pictures of how these lifts are integrated and used in different dock designs. Once the customer has a familiarity of the lifts and the potential of what he can do with them, we have a whole crew of salesmen at Deco that can help you design your dock, hook you up with a licensed marine contractor in your area, and get all this information to get you started.
All right, well, guys, we need to take a real short time out, but I'm pretty excited about what's coming up next. There has been some massive engineering that's taken place here at Deco Boat Lifts in the world of welding, okay? And guys, this is cool. I'm into these tools. And you have never seen anything like this. We're gonna be covering it with who right after the break?
Chris Bissell, who designed the entire weld department here at Deco, all state-of-the-art, brand new.
It's gonna be pretty Mac Daddy. We'll cover it right after this.
Stay bolted. ShipShape TV will be back in a snap. Welcome back aboard. Fishing for boat improvement? Well, you caught it right here at ShipShape TV.
Hey John, welcome to Plant 1 here at Deco Boat Lifts in Safety Harbor, Florida.
We are on the west coast of Florida today here at ShipShape TV. We're just outside of Clearwater, kind of across the bay from Tampa. And who we now have on the program is one of the engineers at Deco Boat Lifts. This is Chris Bissell. So much engineering and inventing has taken place in this company going all the way back to 1959. And Chris, this is your specialty. You're like a mastermind when it comes to this. What are some of the items or some of the products that you've created to really put a Deco boat lift ahead of anybody else that's out there? What are some of the things that you've engineered and invented over the years?
So what we've always been known for is we manufacture our own gearbox in-house from raw materials.
Right.
And from there we patented our cable retention system. That was another feature that
George
we did.
was just telling us about that. That is awesome.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
It keeps the cable from crossing, so it doesn't weaken it to where it could snap.
Right.
Which is awesome.
And we're one of the only boat lift companies in the world to manufacture all of our lifts out of a box beam aluminum construction.
Okay, what does a box give you versus like a round beam?
So a box beam, or compared to where you're using like a C-channel or an I-beam, which is industry standard, box beam has two stanchions in the vertical direction and two stanchions in the horizontal direction. So it gives you bilateral support, so it's not as prone to twisting when you max load it.
Okay, so like an I-beam where you just have a center column and you have a sandwich up on top, that could possibly twist or...
It has the weakness is it doesn't do well in twisting, and sometimes you get forces on a boat lift when a wind pushes the boat left and right in the slip. Absolutely. It gets a little left and right.
Okay.
And what happens is the I-beam weakens over time as it twists, whereas the box beam, it doesn't twist.
My house, I have what's called a low profile lift. Okay.
The beamless.
It's a beamless lift, and you guys literally created this is an entirely invention from Deco Boat Lift.
Yeah. So the 4-motor beamless lift, we came up with that idea back in the early 2000s, and we engineered it to be a good-looking, strong engineered lift.
Okay, fantastic. Now you invented and kind of you've done all the engineering for all of this apparatus behind us, and this is a welding set. How many different welding bays do you have here?
So we have 7 full-time welding bays within our welding facilities. And what we ended up doing was we took all of our heavy equipment and moved it up onto boom arms so that all the equipment was off the floor, so the welders could focus on welding and not moving heavy equipment.
Okay, now the arms fold, and that gives the welders what capability?
So it knuckles in the middle, so it gives the welders the capability, if they have to weld in a tight spot, they can bend the boom arm to get in that tight corner, or if they have a long 40-foot beam, typical to our boathouse.
Oh yeah.
What you get is you can extend that arm out so they can still weld 20 foot away.
Okay, so you engineered kind of the apparatus to help with space and to get into ergonomics, okay, if you will, and that's key. But where the real brainchild has come into this apparatus is actually what you've engineered into it to make a better weld, okay? Can we talk about that? Because that's the important stuff.
Right. So we did a lot of research in early 2019, and the equipment that we purchased features state-of-the-art nanotechnology processors.
Right.
So it gives you better arc and better stability within that arc.
Now you're like the first to have this kind of stuff. What is that helping in?
So it helps basically avoid porosity, and porosity in a weld is very bad.
Isn't porosity the kind of the trash that's in a weld?
Impurities, as they call it.
Right.
Impurities in the weld. You get pitting, you get weld fatigue, and you'll get weld cracking, which leads to weld failure.
Now, Chris, I'm much of more of a creative person rather than somebody that could come up with the engineering to design something like wave pulse. Okay, I have no idea what it is, but you sure do.
Right.
And how did you engineer wave pulse into the system?
So all of our welding equipment had to have things such as hot start. They had to have things such as DC wave pulse. They had to have variable wave pulse frequencies. And what that does, it allows our welders to really control, basically the dig and fill of the material, so you get good penetration. You can control the heat output.
Okay.
And we get a strong, beautiful looking weld.
Okay, so that has something to do with heat, with controlling?
You want to control the heat input, that's correct.
And that's what that does.
Correct.
I know there's a lot of stuff here that you masterminded that's totally proprietary and everything, but if people do have more questions, you can't get a final list than at Deco. Where can we think?
Sure. We have a great website at decoboatlift.com.
All right, now we're going to have a little fun this week because you have on the schedule us to come up and film a new commercial for you guys, and I believe you're going to be there with the Deco girls, and it's going to be amazing. But guys, right now we need to take another time out, but keep it right here because when we come back, Brian Farrell is going to be talking with Ry Landry over at Yamaha, and we're going to be learning some more critical information on all of our outboard engines.
Ship Shape TV will be right back. From the start of your outboard until you return to the dock, make sure your boating experience is always fun and enjoyable by remembering that maintenance matters. Presented by Yamaha.
So Brian, we've been talking about carburetors and how they control engine speed and get fuel into it. And what I want to do today is take a little time and talk about a modern four-stroke motor and how the electronic fuel injection system does those same functions.
Alrighty. Hey guys, I'm Brian Farrell, and I'm again with Ry Landry, the Product Education Manager with Yamaha Marine.
So the first thing we're going to start with is the throttle body. Now, just like the throttle plate inside the carburetor controlled engine speed by opening or closing, the throttle plate does the same thing, but now it's electronically controlled. And in this case, as you can see, we have a single throttle plate as opposed to having three, where we had three cylinders. That's right. So now we just have one for all four cylinders on this actual motor.
Okay. And that gets into having intake runners that chambers the air to each individual cylinder.
Absolutely right. So let's go to the other side of the motor and take a look at some of the other components that are part of the fuel injection system.
Awesome. All right, so here we have the intake runners that are connected to that throttle body, and they're funneling air to the intake ports on the cylinders.
That's absolutely right. And the electronic side of the fuel injection system is actually going to measure how much air is coming in, so it can determine how much fuel is going to need to be mixed with it, just like we were doing on a carburetor, but we did it mechanically.
Mechanically, yeah.
That's right. So now if we come over here, we have our lift pump. This is our low pressure pump, and it's actually going to draw fuel from our fuel tank through our water separator, and then it's actually going to supply it to the vapor separator tank. Now inside the vapor separator tank, we actually have our high pressure fuel pump. So that's a very important component inside there.
Now, inside this VFT, there is also a fuel filter, right?
Absolutely right. And unfortunately, that's often forgotten during a service, but it's a very important filter for your fuel injection system to make sure that contamination doesn't get to your fuel injectors.
Okay. So from the VFT, we then have a fuel line that goes to the fuel rail, to the injectors, and that's where it's actually spraying fuel.
Absolutely right. And the ECM itself is going to be what's measuring how much air is going in. It'll determine how much fuel is needed at that point in time, and you're going to actually inject it in individually at the right time in the right cylinder.
Awesome.
Now, don't forget, just because fuel injection systems are more reliable than what we used to have with carburetors, they do still need to be maintained. And if you want to find more information about that, go to maintenance.yamahaoutboards.com.
Big news! Full episodes are now available on the Ship Shape TV YouTube channel. Hit subscribe, and every time a program posts, you'll be personally notified. Guys, we're actually we're in Jupiter, Florida. This is a gentleman's house called Nathan Cable, and pretty apropos that we're talking about the cable retention system. Which I think.
We love having the cable retention system here at Jupiter.
Nathan just ordered a Deco boat lift, and what type of boat lift do you call it?
You got a beamless lift.
Okay, and it's a beautiful pursuit, Nathan. So this is also kind of known as the low profile lift, where it doesn't hamper your view of the water.
The beamless lift uses 4 individual gearboxes, and they can be operated independently or all at the same time to lift the front of the boat, the back of the boat, and tilt it any way you want.
Where it doesn't hamper your view in the backyard. You can still see the beautiful water. You don't have a big ugly upper beam.
That's correct.
Or whatever, which is really cool. Also, hey Chris, man, great job in the commercial. Also, this engineer over here, okay, what an unbelievable job he did with the overhead welding system, George. Oh my gosh, that factory's coming together. And I know that you are really picking up a lot of business, and you need to really be just precise and get these things out perfectly to the customers, and that's really going to speed up the process.
The process has really gotten faster because of the overhead welding system. We used to get a bottleneck at welding, which we don't have anymore. The efficiency of having that system has really improved the flow in the factory.
Okay, well, it was really fun filming the commercial. We were just filming the new Deco boat lift commercial today with the girls. Thank you, very nice job.
The Deco
by
girls.
the way, we have a lot of people that we need to thank who helped make today's show possible. Naturally, all the experts in the marine industry. George, your brother Richie, unbelievable. Most importantly, we got to thank everybody at home. Thanks so much for hanging out with us right here on the beautiful water's edge for the last half hour. I'm John Greviskis, George Massal. We'll see you on the next go around. George, I was thinking about, you know, that elevator lift on the canal that I was talking about? I was thinking about that.
Closed captioning provided by the over 2-decade video library at the all-new ShipShape TV website. Available now worldwide online with paid subscription. Makes a great gift with a special boater search engine for ease of use. Hurry, the introductory price ends soon, so watch any episode, old or new, on any device at the all-new ShipShapeTV.com.